Welcome to the Wellness Revolution podcast, the radio show all about wellness in your mind, body, spirit, personal growth, sex, and relationships. Stay tuned for weekly interviews featuring guests that have achieved physical, mental, and spiritual health in their lives. If you'd like to have access to our entire back catalog, visit drveronica.com for instant access. And here is your host, Dr. Veronica.
Dr. Veronica, bringing you more information than you can possibly digest. But if you take away just one nugget a week, actually, I want you to take 2 nuggets a week from each of my guests, one from each segment, 1 nugget a week, and make 1 change or 2 changes, small changes a week, you will transform your life in a rather short period of time. It is about taking action. You have to do something. So why is this so important? It's important because, as I tell you time and time again, and I hope that you hear, what's going on in your mind is going to affect your body, and that will translate to a physical illness. So whether you have a problem with your weight or your heart, or you have cancer, or it's diabetes, or thyroid problems, or the legs in your veins aren't right, or you have an injury, that is saying something about your spiritual state. And when your spiritual state is not quite right, your body is there to tell you and challenge you to change. You will make a change in your life when you listen to your body, which is an outward expression of what's going on in your spirit. And so when you see someone who you think they look wonderful and they radiate wonderfulness, that is their spiritual state. When you see somebody who is 116 years old or 106 or 107, and you're like, wow, I'd like to be with them, they figured out how to get it together. And some people have gotten it together through lots of trials and tribulations. So people come and they think it's just about what diet you're on, how few calories you can eat, how much you can exercise, and that's all that matters. Faster, stronger, and better by not needing any food and exercising a whole lot, and then you will get to be who you want to be. Well, guess what? We all know that is false. Yet people continue to do it that way. They make their resolutions in New Year's, and we're way past the New Year now. So people have long forgotten the resolution that they've made because most people quit 21 days after they say that they're going to do something. Well, there's another way to do it. And another way to do it is get your mind in order, and then your body will follow. And so we have a unique guest on today because she is a world-class athlete. And I see women like this, and I'm all jealous of them that they can do these type of things. And you got to know that I was an athlete back. I'm a weekend warrior type person, but I'm not elite at even being a weekend warrior. But I finish, and so I feel good about myself. So when I went out, we're in the Philadelphia area. I like to go down and do the Broad Street run. I'm in the back. And the person who won the race won before I even got to start. Okay. I take my time. I get there. I finish. I feel good. I'm smiling. It's not about, it's about progressing in my own life journey. Although I would love if I could have been an elite athlete. I love sports. I've always loved playing sports. And when I was, back in the day in high school, I got several varsity letters and yada, yada, yada. But sports wasn't my focus necessarily. But now that I look back on it, I wish it would have been my focus because it's just fun. I love physical activity. So the guest that I have with me now is an author and a dietitian and an all-American triathlete. And she's won in 2012 a silver medal. She's a top American finisher in her age group. And here is the real interesting part about this. She has managed to keep up her training even when going through cancer. And I'm sure this is all part of her journey. So I'm going to bring on to you and introduce to you Karen Newman. And you want to hear this story because she has something unusual about her story that I didn't tell you about. The cancer's unusual and that she could train through it. But of course, you know there's another twist to this story. So Karen, welcome to Wellness to the Real World.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be on your show, Veronica. Thank you so much for asking me, and I'm excited to inspire your audience.
Yes, well, you're going to have to give me some coaching because I'm trying to figure out, okay, I had an injury and, the years are ticking by and I want to be better and I'm not. But I get there, but I want to be better than I am. But let's not talk about this. We want to talk more about your journey through cancer and what happened and how did it start. And you had a disorder that's very common in America today that's hidden. And I want to talk specifically about that disorder because we see someone like you. You look like, when we see people like you running around, you're the people that we all look jealous of and they look like the picture of health, but you had not only the cancer going on, you had something else going on. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So to be perfectly honest, I am a dietitian, as you mentioned, but I was suffering from bulimia, and it is a hidden epidemic. And I started having an eating disorder when I was 14. I was teased and bullied as a child, and I really wore those labels. And I was trying so hard to fit in and to matter and to not get teased. And so I started to reach and search for perfectionism, and I learned to wear all these different masks, and I would do whatever I could to please everyone. And as I journeyed on and on, I became interested, of course, in nutrition and was introduced to bulimia and at age 20, and I suffered for 25 years. No one knew. I was a very good actress. I had learned as a child to wear these masks. And so I would stand in front of the American Dietetic Association and travel all over the country speaking about good nutrition, while frequently the taste of bile might be on my tongue. And the shame that cloaked me was almost unbearable. And one thing I really want your audience to know is that secrets love the darkness. They really flourish there. And if we can have the courage to share our shame, share what is possibly an addiction with someone we love, or seek help, there is hope and victory. I thought I would lose everything. I thought I would lose my husband. I thought I would lose my job. I thought I would lose my children. And it's exactly the opposite. People embraced me with all of my imperfections. And the turning point for me was actually 3 weeks before my cancer diagnosis, where I was on my knees begging God to take me home because I could not live with this lie anymore. It was destroying absolutely everything in my life. And when I heard the diagnosis of cancer 3 weeks later, I instinctively knew that I could not keep bulimia as my best friend and beat cancer. So it was a fight for years, actually. And I also knew that God did not give me cancer, but he was allowing me to go through the journey because he could see the other side. And I am grateful, as hard as this is to hear, for the diagnosis of cancer because it completely changed my life.
Tell us a little bit more about developing bulimia, because it's interesting that you said I developed this as 20. I assume that was an age where you were picking your career and thinking about being a dietitian. And one of the issues with our whole industry, we're now so focused on obesity. On the other side, we have all these little skinny, wiry dietitians running around and telling everybody to eat salad, which is not obviously working.
Right.
So we have this, disconnect. We have, and on the other side, we frown down upon those people with the giant bodies because we don't think that they're physically attractive. And yet the people who are like you, who are athletic looking and fit, we think, okay, they're a goddess, but yet we don't know that all this is going on around the scenes. Now, in functional wellness, we talk about those fat, skinny people, those people who, although they look okay on the outside. Their metabolism and their metabolic state is actually very scary on the inside. And I assume when you had bulimia that this was going on in you. You looked okay from the outside, but from the inside, it was like, oh my God. And how can I say that I know that that's true? Because cancer manifested in your body. It wasn't only your physical. There was your mental state, but the physical allows the cancer to manifest. It doesn't manifest in a healthy physiologic state. So tell us about, what do you say? Because this is a more powerful story than just saying you have cancer. I mean, I'm saying just cancer. Cancer is a big deal. But to tell people, I was the picture of health. I was an athlete and a dietitian, yet I had this disease that was counter to all that likely contributed to you manifesting the cancer. What do you tell people about that?
Okay, so really what I've learned is that exactly what you said. I bring it all back to love. I bring it all back to love because I did not love myself. Back as a child, bullied, teased, I was dyslexic. We had a dunce chair. There was just so many people in my life causing me to wear labels and to finally just hate myself. I didn't even need bullies anymore. I had my own inner bully, and I just thought I was not worthy, not important in this world. And I'm not surprised that I wound up getting this huge tumor in my left breast right over my heart that was broken. And so I just want every single person to know that they are so loved and love is vital. And whatever they look like, they are beautiful. And I was very good I learned as a child to wear these masks and be whoever anybody wanted me to be. I sought after dietetics because I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could about nutrition. I could help everyone. I was very good at helping people because I knew so much, but I couldn't help myself. And why? Because I didn't know how to allow love into my heart. I didn't know how to love myself and break open a space to receive love. And I believe in my heart now that is open to receiving love, that this is a game changer in life and re-allowing people to love us. I learned this from my friends who found out, that I was going to have to go through chemotherapy, and they drove over to my house and they just blocked my car and said, "Get in the car, we're driving you to chemo." And I had never really accepted unconditional love. And at that moment, I had no choice. And I'm so grateful. So I want everyone to open themselves to love, to hear loving words, to throw off all of those negative labels that are lies, and to keep loving words close to your heart because they are so vital. And we, every single day, have that opportunity to speak love and life into one another. And it's a free gift.
Let's talk a little bit more about this. I just want to put in for you to understand as the audience what's going on with people like Karen, for people also who have breast cancer. Karen made the point that not only her breast cancer was right over her inner left breast, over her heart. Well, and from an intuitive standpoint, energetically, and people who know about Ayurvedic medicine and yoga will understand this. It's right in your heart chakra. Your breasts, your lungs, your heart, your arms are all in that energy center related to the heart. And related to the heart has to do with, of course, love and nurturing, but love and nurturing of yourself versus others. And so when you don't love yourself enough, even though you may be very nurturing to everybody else, you are going to manifest some type of disease within your heart energy center. Now, for men, a lot of times it's about anger and they end up having heart attacks, high blood pressure and heart attacks in the heart chakra. For women, a lot of times they manifest cancer, breast cancer. Now, if you get over that cancer, but do not get over that spiritual state that allowed the cancer to take root in your body, you will just get another disease in the heart chakra. So you will say, I got over my cancer, but the chemotherapy messed up my heart, or it messed up my lungs, or I had the surgery and now I have lymphedema in my arm. all in the heart chakra. Why did you get this? Still another very serious and or life-threatening situation in that same area. Even though it seems like a different organ to you, it's not. It's all in the same energy center. And so when cancer comes knocking at your door, when a heart attack or heart disease or heart failure or a serious lumbar or a problem with your arms comes knocking at your door, you have a stroke, your arms don't move, you better do some serious soul searching, because that is the only way that you're going to be able to heal. Again, that fear, that anger, that sadness. And it may be fear that other people aren't going to love you, or sadness that somebody doesn't love you, or shame about something. You better get rid of that some kind of way. Let it go. As you let it go, your physiology changes. And then these diseases that can take your life won't take your life. Also understand that whenever somebody has cancer, they have had a death wish. They've had a death wish. And so if you listen closely to my shows, you will listen to every single person who comes on who's had cancer at one time or another who says, I really was having that time where I wished I was dead for some reason. So instead of committing suicide with a gun or a knife or something like that, killing yourself, you're going to kill yourself with the disease, and you get the pity party that comes up with it. So Karen is telling us what's going on with her that illustrates the point of what happens when you don't get it together. Now, 5 lessons to live from a one-breasted world record-holding miracle. That is you. What are some of the lessons that you can give the audience?
Well, the first one I want everyone to know is to just throw off any negative labels that you're wearing. I don't want you to ever listen to those lies. And I really encourage you to speak some affirmations, whether you write them on your cell phone, you hang them on your mirror, have some wonderful, beautiful affirmations so that when a negative thought comes into your head, you can change that around to a positive, because words are so incredibly powerful. I also want everyone to know that you can allow others to help you. It is a gift not only for yourself, but it is a gift for others. It works both ways. So be a blessing and allow a blessing to come into your life. And the third thing that I always say is never give up your dream. So when I was diagnosed with advanced stage 3 breast cancer, I had earned a slot to the Triathlon World Championship. And I was told that I needed to give up those dreams. And finally, I decided I'm not listening to those defeating words. I am going to hold this dream close to my heart. And I had to go through several oncologists to find one that was willing to at least work with me. And I was able to compete at this elite triathlon world championship while going through chemotherapy. And it was one of the hardest things I have ever done in my entire life. But I did it because I spoke encouraging words and because people loved me to the finish line. And God loved me to the finish line. And when I crossed it, the whole wide world, 75 countries, were waiting for me. And falling into their arms was one of the greatest athletic achievements of my life. So I want everyone to know whatever they're going through, to dream their big dream. The other thing I want everyone to know is that trials in your life can be the most extraordinary, transformative moments. You learn something through the fire. You really do. So open yourself to receiving new gifts and being able to give back to this hurting world in ways that you just never, ever thought was possible. And I just want everyone to know that they are perfectly imperfect, that whatever, they're going through, they're beautiful on the inside and the outside. I want them all to know that they are perfectly imperfect, and that's just wonderful, because vulnerability makes you so beautiful. So don't be afraid to share what you're really going through. Throw off the mask. and be your authentic self. And that's my fifth one. And I have many more, by the way.
Are you still competing now?
I am. I am supposed to compete at the Triathlon World Championships in Cozumel, Mexico. But I do have to share with you, Veronica, that I was in the hospital on Mother's Day.
Oh.
I was taken in to the hospital through the ER, and they found a compression fracture in my spine. And I just had a bone biopsy yesterday, and unfortunately, we found aggressive cancer in my spine. So we are going to be doing a PET scan, but I really and truly believe that I am going to be living a very long time. And this is just another trial and another challenge, and I will be singing and praying that I can race at the World Championships in Cozumel.
Yes. And, it's interesting that thank you for sharing that. Wow. Very personal news, which for most people, I know that although there's this area of you that says, oh my God, not again. And I'm scared, but you've been fearless through this. You've managed, even despite those emotions, to be able to walk through. Keep your eyes open. There are people out there outside of the traditional system, hard to hear about them, who cure cancer. I was on the internet this morning because I travel in this functional circle of people who do stuff out in quote unquote left field that's not quite out in left field. And they work very well with cancer patients and actually keep them alive longer. Now, I'm going to talk about this right now, and I'm going to get this guy on the show. And interesting, one of the guys that I met, a teacher, I've been to a conference, and I'm actually in June going to a conference where he's teaching about IV nutritional therapy. He gets people who've been through cancer, who the traditional medical situation has exhausted itself, because at a point you've gotten everything that the traditionally trained oncologist can give you, and yet there still is always something else. And so I met this guy. He's another Dr. Anderson, happens to be a naturopath and an expert in IV nutritional therapy. People come to him from around the world. I'm telling people this. He's out in, I believe, Seattle or Oregon or someplace like this. I'm telling people about this on the air because I know there's somebody who is listening to my voice who's looking for some hope. So you can contact me on my website, drveronica.com. If anybody's out there to say, I'm at the end of my rope and I want to know, is there something else that can help you? Yes, there's always something out there that can help you. And so when your doctor says no, you say next. When your doctor says no, say next, and look for what other opportunities that are out there. It's not over until it's over. It's not done until it's done. And so perhaps Karen is here on this show today because there are several people out there who need to know that there's another way. There's a doctor in Houston who knows how to cure cancer. There's Dr. Anderson over there on the West Coast who he has people who have come to him that years later, they're alive when they had a diagnosis and somebody said they would be gone in a month or 2 months or something like that. So there are treatments out there that will work to truly cure you and rejuvenate you. Now, what happens with cancer with a lot of people is it gets put at bay and it doesn't show up, but you have to switch your physiology and all that type of stuff to keep it at bay. And you have to rejuvenate your system. And so why do I talk about this also? There's a gentleman, a doctor, who created some chemotherapy. And the next thing he did was create a supplement company because he understands we're breaking down the body. We have to build it back up now. And so there is always, and Karen can say whether I'm saying stuff that's true or false. There always is another way. And if you're interested in that information, I'll definitely share it with you after the show and tell you where to go, just so you have options.
I absolutely would. And it's just amazing that I'm talking to you today.
You
after
always
getting this news last night at 7:00 in the evening, and I wasn't going to share, but I said you know what? this is the truth. This is the reality of my life. And as you said, there is always hope. And I have great hope. I have so many things to do in this kingdom, and it is not over yet. So I'm just so blessed, and I want to get all the information that you have available, and I want every single person out there to know that you are amazing, that there is hope and victory for all of us, and to not give it up.
And so let me just say something about, you might say, okay, Dr. Veronica, you're amazing. No, I work on behalf of the creator of the universe, the creator of all that there is, to bring forth a message. And so as an intuitive, I draw people into my sphere who need something that I have to give. And so it just happens today that I brought forth a guest who the audience needs to hear her story, but she needs something. So I'm here as a gift. I've had people tell me, you're an angel. I'm here to give a message. And that's what angels do. They give a message, and they give the message at the right time to the right person. And I don't even know when it's going to happen. She got this last night. But guess what? My energy knew that she needed to be on, and she knew that she needed to be on, and we didn't even know why. So when you're wondering how the universe works, understand that there are forces out there working behind the scenes that you may not understand, but it's still happening. And so this to me is one of the examples of how incredible the universe works to help us all get over what we need to get over and help us all evolve in our soul. And part of that is dealing with some challenges in our body. And Karen has gone through the challenge, not only for herself, but so she can help other people. Because think about it.